Welcome to Golf Away Tours Webcast for the month of March. We're pleased to be joined by Frank Casey Jr., the Director of Golf at Rosapenna Resort in Ireland. And Frank, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, TJ. Thanks for having me on.
So exciting times for your course and your property, and we'll get into that into the interview. But I want to start off by just touching a bit on how you got involved. Obviously, you grew up in the at the resort with the family. Your family's been involved for a long time. So tell me a little bit about the history of your family there and yourself and getting involved and your golf journey.
So my dad worked actually in the original hotel, which burnt down in 1962. Well, the original course was built in 1893, and there was a large wooden structure built at the same time. My father worked in that in his late teens and early 20s. That actual hotel burnt down in 1962, and it moved to where the current hotel is currently, what was called the Sheephaven Lodge. So my father worked in hospitality and moved home and actually bought the hotel 40 years ago this April. So more or less next month. We had one golf course when he bought it, Old Tom Morris, which has changed slightly since then, and just a 22-bedroom hotel. So in the last 40 years, we've added Sandy Hills, reworked a new 9 holes into Old Tom Morris, and extended the hotel to a 62-bedroom hotel. And also we have St. Patrick's opening later this summer.
Yeah, so that's it's obviously very exciting. A new golf course opening up, and a big name designer as well, and Tom Doak doing it. And I believe it's his first golf course over there, isn't it? His first
It's
new
his
course.
first course. Yeah, it's his first course in Ireland. He has the Renaissance Club in Scotland, and he is Saint-Emilion in France. He's done a little bit of work at Woodhall Spa in East England a couple of winters ago. But of original designs, this is really his third in Europe.
So I know the course had a bit of a start a number of years ago with some clearing and another design. I believe it was Jack Nicklaus actually did design on it previously. And then so how did it come about in terms of getting Tom on board and evolving into where it is today?
So it was sold in 1976 at auction as three separate farms, three separate plots, and it went on auction in Dublin. And it was bought by a local hotelier called Dermot Walsh, who owned the Carrigat Hotel just the next village up from us. So Dermot sat on it for quite a while, and then developed two golf courses in the mid-90s. One was designed by Eddie Hackett, a famous Irish architect, who's worked on Enniscrone, Connemara, Donegal, a couple other places. So they built two courses in the mid-90s. Eddie Hackett designed one, John O'Hare designed the other. She was a female professional at Royal Countydown Golf Club at the time. So they were built in the early 90s, and it opened around 1996. So there was no golf club. It was just primarily a pay and play facility operated from the Carrigar Hotel, 36 holes on around 320 acres or so. And it operated as a pay and play facility for 10 years until 2006, when another Donegal-based developer purchased it from the Walsh family in early mid 06, and he brought in Jack Nicklaus to redesign all 36 holes, to do two golf courses rather than one, which we're doing. So Jack, they came in, they did maybe about 6 or 8 weeks worth of work at the end of 2006, and then the project ran into some difficulties, and it lay dormant for quite a while. And then our family bought it out of receivership in late 2012.
Great. And then so how did Tom get involved? How did that evolve?
So we had known Tom through a mutual friend, Larry Lambrecht, a photographer, and Tom had been here with us on a couple of occasions. And once we bought it, we got into talks then with Tom, and Tom made a couple of site visits. So we went back and forth for quite a while, and then with Tom on just different ways to bring the project forward. And we ended up actually partnering with Tom and Renaissance Golf Design, and so it's a partnership in St. Patrick's. And he started in April 2018, and we started quite slowly, did a couple of greens in June 18 after clearing the golf course, and then really started in earnest in July 2019. We did all the green complexes and through the midsummer, late summer, and seeded all the greens. And through the winter, we worked on the tee boxes and some of the fairways. Then we obviously were stopped with COVID around a year ago now. And we stopped probably for maybe 2.5, 3 months, which kind of held us back a little bit. But then we got going again in sort of late July, August 2020, and got the last few fairways finished. And through the winter, just been sort of tidying bits and pieces up, and hoping now to be open for the end of June.
Yeah, exciting times. And anytime a new golf course is open, and especially a links golf course, it's rare these days. So it's nice to get something new into the rotation. I was lucky enough to visit your resort a few years ago with a group of pros, and we got to play Sandy Hills in the Old Town course, and really enjoyed it. Stayed at the resort as well. And you may not remember the date, but the Canadians will, in the sense that we were there the night that there was a big Blue Jay game on. And
oh, I think I remember. We were trying to get it on the TV. Yeah, because it wasn't a channel that we normally get. And I think
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. I remember us trying to get the channel. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did remarkably, and we thank you for that, because we stayed up till all hours watching, and there was a big home run by Jose Bautista, and so for that reason I'll always remember that night at your resort. But we had a great stay there. Tell us a little bit about the resort itself, as opposed to the golf course.
So yeah, we have a 62-bedroom hotel on site, as you know, very close to Old Tamaris and Sandy Hills. It overlooks a small beach, Downings Bay. Over half our rooms have a sea view. Quite spacious, quite large lounges, public areas, and then it's a 7-iron away from the golf pavilion here, which is our main golf hub, where we have our pro shop, ladies and gents locker rooms, and then we have our bar and restaurant upstairs. And the two golf courses, Old Tamaris and Sandy Hills, both start and finish from here. Old Tamaris is made up of 2 loops of 9, and then Sandy Hills is just a 1-tee start from the first. And then St. Patrick's it's one dune system the whole way along Tramore Beach, but you actually drive. You leave the resort. It's a 3-kilometer drive. So you leave the resort and you drive to Carrigart and around, and you kind of almost come at St. Patrick's. The entrance is at the back end of the golf course, if that makes sense, the back end of the dunes. And then you can access it through the 2 golf courses here, but that obviously wouldn't really work. So we're gonna have a separate clubhouse over there and a separate entrance as well. So
a great place to go, and obviously with the third course, somewhere where groups can just park themselves for a few nights and play a number of rounds of golf, and there's other golf in the area as well. So it's a good spot to just park yourself for a week trip or something along those lines, which is what you get from international tourists staying there that long, as opposed to the shorter stays for domestic travelers. And I wanted to touch a little bit on that. Our international North American travelers have really, over the years, wanted to tick off the bucket list trips, bucket list courses for the most part, the County Downs, the Ballybunions of the world. But over the last, say, 5 to 10 years, we've certainly noticed more of a desire to get sort of off the beaten track and to see some parts of Ireland that maybe some people haven't heard of, because there's so many great golf courses. And have you noticed that change in international travel over the last, say, 10 years?
Yeah, that's very true, TJ. Donegal is in the Republic of Ireland, but for a long time we were almost treated as if we were in Northern Ireland, because you have to drive through the border twice to get into Donegal. So right through the 90s, even County Down and Portrush, didn't struggle, but they didn't see the number of tourists they see today. So post Good Friday Agreement in 1998, and since then it's been tourism in the north, in Northern Ireland and Donegal, as a sort of not an overflow, but as a product of County Down and Portrush getting so much busier with the peace in Ireland and in Northern Ireland. It's been fantastic. And then Portrush, first of all, hosting the Senior British Open, and then in 2012 they had the Irish Open, and then 2015 County Down had the Irish Open, 2018 or 2017 Port Stewart, 2018 Ballyliffin, then 2019 the Open at Royal Portrush. So with that sort of focus on the northern half of the country rather than the southwest, it gives our region great visibility in the media, in the online media, print media, on television, and that makes it a lot easier for guys like you to be able to sell our region, to sell Donegal, because Ballyliffin becomes more of a household name, Rosapenna, County Sligo, Enniscrone, everywhere along that north and west coast, Nairn and Portneuf, who've just done a huge revamp with Gilhance, which is a fantastic links course just over an hour south of Rosapenna here. So yeah, we've really seen a huge upsurge in visitor numbers. And a couple of Southwest is getting to saturation point as well with tea times, and tea times are harder to get, and a lot of people have already done the Southwest loop, so they're looking to go somewhere different. And then you might have some groups looking for slightly better value, because there's great value to be had in the north and west region, between hotels and the green fee rates as well. So yeah, it's been a great sort of 10-15 year period.
Yeah, that's great. And that's what we keep telling people. Three reasons I think that we like to send people to the Northwest. One, access to the tea. There's more access than other courses, the bigger courses like County Down or Ballybunion. Also, value. You get great value going there. And also, I find maybe more of an authentic Irish experience, not quite as touristy, not as busy from a tourist perspective. So you can go to the pub and the local pub and get some live music, and it maybe feels a little bit more authentic. And I love that about the towns and villages along the West.
Yeah, no, that's very true. There's a very it's almost like, what the South what the Southwest was like maybe, 25 years ago, but it has got commercial in a way down there, and it's when you're dealing with the big numbers every day, and it's kind of the way you have to go. But up here it's a little it's a little bit more sleepy and a bit slower, and but a very authentic Irish experience nonetheless.
Absolutely. So to finish off, and we touched a little bit before we started recording this, is just how things stand right now. Obviously, it's been a quiet last 12 months, and it'll be quiet for the next few months as the vaccines roll out and people get back to traveling. I think we're both confident that towards the end of the year, people will be traveling again. But what are you looking at, or what are you seeing for when we get past this into 2022? We've been seeing a lot of desire for travel. I think 22 is going to be a very busy year. Are you seeing something similar?
Yeah, we seen a massive spike last summer domestically from new members, current members who maybe their participation wasn't huge, like their number of rounds. Everybody played more rounds than they played the year before. There's and now with the lockdown we've been locked down for the last 6 months more or less. There's a lot of pent up demand. A lot of my members are just so keen to get back out onto the golf course, and I think the same thing of traveling golfers. It's going to be the exact same. Everybody's going to realize they've missed nearly a year and a half worth of travel, and they just kind of something that you took for granted, that you could just jump on a plane and fly 5-6 hours and play golf, or just get it set up and go. So people are definitely, I think, going to travel as soon as restrictions are lifted, and as soon as it's easier to move around the world again. I think there's going to be a lot of pent up demand there, and
Yeah, absolutely.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully we see the hotels opening towards the middle of June, start middle of June. So we would be very optimistic that we would hope to have some international travel definitely from July onwards, if not before, all things going well with the rollout of the vaccine, and case numbers going down worldwide.
Absolutely. And yeah, we're certainly seeing that pent up demand for 22. And, with so many groups having to move their trips from 21 to 22, a lot of the top courses, the bucket list, if you will, courses are going to book up really quickly for next
Of
year.
course,
So, the areas like your area in the north and west might have a little bit more availability for people still looking to plan something for 22. So that's certainly something that we're pushing. And, obviously this being now the month of March and St. Patty's Day coming up, it's a big focus on Ireland for us. So we're happy to have you join us and give
so
us this
much.
information. We're excited to see the St. Patrick's Links when it opens and when we can get over there. And thanks again for joining us.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.